And hello, everyone. It's really nice to meet you all. I would love to meet you all actually in person rather than on screen, but there we go. I prepared for the Dharma Day a passage from on the Brahma Viharas on the positive emotions, because in a way, throughout all my practice, what Dharma meant to me and means to me, it's all about opening our hearts. And it's opening into that limitless, vast and spacious opening into love. And I really enjoyed what Bodhilei brought in her metta practice this morning. There was one thing what stood out in my memory. Bodhilei said that metta is not a thing, that metta is a response between us and the world. And I think I keep, I don't think I got it yet. I think I keep practicing understanding what it really means, what that metta really means through meditation and through practicing outside the cushion. And then we were talking about our response from Amalakitu's talk. And one of his questions was about where did you first hear about the Dharma? And I remember coming to the centre for my first time in Nottingham, and I knocked the door. I shared that in my group. I knocked the door, a bit scared, a bit sort of not knowing what I'm getting into. And this woman opened the door just quietly, and she said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, you can't come in. It's closed today." And so she closed the door, and I was like, "Oh my Lord, this is it. I wanna be there." And it's not, basically she said, "Oh, you can't come in." But what I actually got from her was this very kind approach, kind tone of voice, and really being friendly and inviting and making me accommodated for the next day. So this is basically what I take from it. And the passage we will shortly read is all about training in loving kindness. So let's hear the passage now. Here, monks, a disciple dwells pervading one direction with his heart filled with loving kindness. Likewise the second, the third, and the fourth direction. So above, below, and around. He dwells pervading the entire world, everywhere and equally, with his heart filled with loving kindness, abundant, grown great, measureless, free from enmity, and free from distress. Here, monks, a disciple dwells pervading one direction with his heart filled with compassion. Likewise, the second and the third and the fourth direction. So above, below, and around. He dwells pervading the entire world, everywhere and equally, with his heart filled with compassion. Abundant, grown great, measureless, free from enmity, and free from distress. Here, monks, a disciple dwells pervading one direction with his heart filled with sympathetic joy. Likewise, the second, the third, and the fourth direction. So above, below, and around. He dwells pervading the entire world, everywhere and equally, with his heart filled with sympathetic joy. Abundant, grown great, measureless, and free from enmity, and free from distress. Here, monks, a disciple dwells pervading one direction with his heart filled with equanimity. Likewise, the second, the third, and the fourth direction. So above, below, and around. He dwells pervading the entire world, everywhere and equally, with his heart filled with equanimity, abundant, grown great, measureless, free from enmity, and free from distress. So this is the short passage from the Digha Nikaya, from the Pali Canon, and it's on the four sublime states. Other words they're called the four immeasurables, the four Brahma Viharas. So they are the whole set, as you probably gathered, the whole set of positive emotions. So firstly, we've got metta, loving kindness. And so we practiced loving kindness at the beginning of our day. And we have karuna, compassion, mudita, gladness, upekkha, equanimity. And they all form this one extraordinary, beautiful and powerful, effective sets of practices. They are not seen as separate things. And I thought this image of a tree really helps to see the Brahma Viharas as a whole, where the root, the source of it all is metta. Metta as the whole core, the foundations, and then mudita and karuna as the branches of that core, and upekkha or upeksha, the whole tree together. So in a way, the image of a tree as the natural source, the same Brahma Vihara is a natural process where metta, when cultivated, very naturally flows towards whatever arises in our life. And there is this very natural outflow of that metta, that when it comes into contact with any suffering in the world, it changes into compassion. Bhante Sangarakshita, our teacher, says that it's like a shadow cast on it. And when it comes into contact with somebody's happiness, good qualities, joy, good fortune, it is a very natural thing that metta changes into gladness. In a passage it says sympathetic joy, but I really enjoy that. Using the word gladness makes me glad myself, actually. So gladness is mudita, and Bhante calls it the bright dancing colors of mudita. The bright dancing colors of mudita. Beautiful. So the seeds of these two are always there in potential. Yeah, that response, the compassionate response and gladness are always in our heart. It's a good reminder for us when we feel a bit low, or we have a bad day, or we feel not good enough, that it's a good reminder that this metta is in us. Yeah, even if you just repeat it to yourself, it's we have the potential. It usually helps a little bit. So it's just what metta needs. Yeah, it's metta. If metta meets suffering, it will very naturally changes into a compassionate response. And then we have upekkha on a fourth slide. I read about upekkha, and it's like this whole image of a whole tree, the wholeness. So it's arising out of those other three and bringing in the dharmic perspective. And this gives rise to equanimity, seeing the whole picture. Upekkha is like the union of the all, conjoined with an insight. So hopefully when, I don't know if you have any trees around you through the window, but hopefully when you go out today or tomorrow, you may be able to see it for yourself, to see when you look at some trees. It may even spark you when you have a look at any of the trees to think of the Brahma Viharas and the qualities, who knows. So seeing the Brahma Viharas as a whole has amazing benefits. One of the benefits is recognizing that within them, as a set of the four practices, they may contain the ability to meet us in any possible life situation. Yeah, so this is all you need for the life, for the happy life. I feel that there is nothing in our experience that doesn't come somewhere within the mandala of the Brahma Viharas, whether that's through the actual positive quality of the Brahma Vihara, through the metta and karuna, mudita, upekka, or through their near and far enemies like jealousy or indifference. So that's it's that the whole mandala that contains everything, the whole Brahma Vihara tree. And I often reflect that, you know, in a worst case scenario, if I dramatize if something really, really bad happens to me in life, I would be really fine if I only had the Brahma Viharas. Yeah. Because that's for me, it does contain everything, and it's really powerful tool to use in our daily life, just like normal day-to-day routine, especially now when we are in this really weird pandemic situation, when there's so much uncertainty in the world. The whole practice of Brahma Viharas, it really helps us to stay in touch with our heart's wish. And Bhante Sangharakshita speaks of this practice in his book called Living with Kindness. He says, throughout the ancient scriptures of the Pali Canon, it is made clear that the way to enlightenment involves the cultivation of emotions at every step, most often in the form of the Brahma Viharas. So that's what I want to say about the little introduction to the Brahma Viharas. And before we split into groups, I want to bring to us some of the very simple verses. I personally use those verses every morning as I get up before I start meditation. They really help me with setting myself up for the day, and they are a very great reminder of what I am, what I want to be in the world. So the Brahma Vihara verses, they are the simple examples. May all beings be happy, so that would be to do with metta. May all beings be free from suffering, that's the compassion. May all beings be joyful, and that will be with mudita, gladness. And the fourth one, may all beings realize the equanimity of awakening, and that's upeksha. Also, there is a good link, the Brahma Viharas, for the first of the 5 or 10 precepts, because the may all beings be well and happy is actually very much the same in tune within the first precept on loving kindness. So this is where I'm going to stop. Thank you very much.